Hi. Well, it's another beautiful day. I have this microphone here because I was told by a viewer that the volume wasn't loud enough, and I hope this makes a difference. Now, today what I want to talk about is pretty much everything. I've told you about your attachments and some of the illusions that you're operating under. What I haven't told you is how these things work together. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. Now, you can't have fear, okay, without the illusion of separateness. The illusion of separateness is that you're one person, alone, okay? Obviously, you have family and everything else, but the illusion is that you're one person. In the end, that's all you are. That's the illusion, okay? But that's not true, okay? Because it's an illusion, okay? You are part of everyone. Everyone is part of you. There is no separation between you and other people. There is no separation between you and God. Now, that's how these things work. Fear comes from the separation that you feel. Okay? That's it. All right? You cannot have fear without this illusion. And if you have this illusion, then you are going to have fear. And that fear can turn into anger and hatred for other people. So, anyway, other illusions. For instance, time. Okay? You can't really have this illusion to time without also having some of the things that you don't like about yourself. For instance, bad emotions. Okay? For instance, if you were hurt when you were younger or in the past, okay? Your attachment to time and the illusion to time makes that hurt real. Okay? We cannot have these bad feelings without time. As long as we believe that there is such a thing called time, which we know there isn't because there's only the now. There is no future. That is another illusion, the illusion of time. There is no past. Everything that happened in the past happened in the now. And everything that's going to happen in the future will happen in the now. That's why those two things don't exist. But as long as you are under the illusion that they do exist, then you're going to be prone to things like greed. You're going to be prone to attaching yourself to a specific time in the past or in the future, okay, which will cause suffering. So, these two things, and there's many others that the illusion of time uses to get you down. And that's what the ego wants. It wants to get you down. And it uses this illusion of time, and it uses the bad feelings and hurt that you've experienced as a way to keep you down. Okay? That's what it's for. That's why it's happening. So, anyway, these illusions, okay, which are not, have no basis in reality, okay, like time and separation, okay, are what your attachments are hinged on, okay? Now, I know it's hard to say, oh, I have an illusion of time, okay? You think probably that you don't have the illusion of time, or that you're not suffering under the illusion of time, okay, but you are. Because if you are thinking about the past, okay, or about some horrible incident that happened in the past, and you're still thinking about it, and you still feel the emotional impact of that, then you are suffering under the illusion to time, okay, of time. And you're also suffering under the emotional impact of those things. Once you realize that time doesn't exist, time is something we make, time is a construct of the human mind. It has no basis in reality. So as long as you think that that's what it is, then you will be stuck. Okay? There's no greed or hurt without time. Okay. Now, other illusions have other effects and have other attachments, okay, to you that keep you down, okay, keep you in a dream. The ego wants you to be in a dream, okay? Now, what are some of these other illusions? Well, for one thing, can't think of anything. Well, that's just the way that goes. But there are other illusions that you're suffering under, and it'll come to you eventually. Anyway, so these illusions, okay, and I use illusion because they're not real, okay? The only thing that is real is you, your soul, okay? Not that you can possess a soul, but that you are a soul. Everything else is part of your fake identity, okay? So, what are some of the other illusions that you're suffering under? Well, for one thing, you might be suffering under the illusion of beauty. Beauty is an illusion because it's not real, okay? And you think you're going to be beautiful. You think you are beautiful and that you're going to continue to be beautiful. But that's not what's going to happen because you're suffering under the illusion of impermanence, okay? Of permanence, sorry. So, that's what's going on. You're suffering under the illusion of permanence, okay? And part of that is beauty, okay? And that includes ugliness too, okay? If you think you're ugly, which believe me, you're not, no matter what you look like, because you are a beautiful, wonderful soul, okay? But anyway, if you think you're beautiful, believe me, it's going to change because this is an impermanent world and everything about you is constantly changing. Not only everything about you, but everything about the universe is constantly changing. Okay? So, this idea of that you're going to be beautiful, okay, because you're beautiful now, or ugly because you're ugly now, is just not the case. Okay? Because you are not your body. There's another illusion that you are your body. Okay? All these illusions that have to do with you, your illusion of identity, okay? Because you have no identity other than the soul, okay? You think you're such and such. You think you did such and such. You went to this and that, okay? That's who you think you are, and that is an illusion. And with that illusion comes all the things that have, connection to your fake identity, like who you think you are, okay? And that these things are attachments, okay? Look at anyone, really, and they have attachments on who they think they are. Because they think they're a person. They think they're a name. If you ask somebody at a party, who are you? They're going to say a name, okay? And where they went to school, and blah, 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 where they're from. All that stuff is who you are to the majority of people. These illusions, okay, of identity and beauty are going to keep you down because they're going to cause suffering, okay? As you age, your beauty fades. That's the way it is. I mean, you can be a beautiful old woman, by all means, but only because you are a beautiful soul, okay? But if you are convinced of the reality of your face, convinced of the reality of your hands, convinced of the reality of your body, okay, then you are in an illusion. And your attachment to the way you look, okay, is going to bring you down. So that's how these two things work. Okay, the impermanence, the permanent illusion. Okay, which is not the way the world is. So that makes it an illusion. Okay, and beauty. Now, I'm sure there's also other illusions that I haven't mentioned because my mind is going. But I'll just keep talking and eventually they'll come to. Okay, so what else is there? Well, anger, right? That's another emotion. What illusion is involved with anger? The illusion that you think you're right. That's it. If you believe that you're right, which is another part of the you-ness that you believe in, okay, which is an illusion also, then you're going to have anger, okay? That's just the way it's going to be, because if you think you're right, then when somebody says you're wrong, you're going to feel offended. You're going to feel, put out. And you're going to want to fight against the other person's wrongness. You're right and they're wrong. Okay? And that's where anger comes from. And also hate somewhat. Hate really stems from fear. And also anger stems from fear too. Okay? So, by allowing yourself to operate under these illusions, you're tying yourself to your attachments even tighter. Okay? And you're clinging to what you think you are. Sorry about that. Sadness. What is the illusion that you're under regarding sadness? Well, it's the illusion of permanence. Okay? You think that the people you love are always going to be there. You think that the beautiful house you live in is always going to be there. You think that everything that's going on in your life is going to keep going. Okay, that's what you think. Okay? And this illusion is leading you down a dark path, because when something changes, and it's going to change, the universe is here to give you challenges so that you can gain higher consciousness. That's what the universe is here for, and that's what happens. And things change. People move away. People change. That's just the way they are. People are really unreliable. And if you depend on all these people in your life as part of your identity, which you do, okay, then you are suffering under permanence, okay? The world is not going to stay the same. Neither are the people around you or the rest of the things you depend on to make yourself feel like yourself, like your car, your house, your money, okay? So, that's the illusion of permanence, and that is part of sadness, because when someone leaves or someone dies or things change somehow, for instance, you're a mom and you love your kids, but they start growing up, and pretty soon they're off to college or they're off to have their own job somewhere. And actually, lately now, many kids are staying at home with their parents because it's tough world out there. But nonetheless, the point is, eventually they're going to get their shit together and they're going to leave. And then you are going to be left with a hole in your heart because you thought you were a mother. That's another thing. Roles are an illusion. You are not a mother or a father. Okay, that is a role that you play temporarily. And as long as you believe that that is who you are, as long as you think that you are a mother, okay, which you do, okay, then when the kids leave, which they're going to, okay, or they won't, either way, those things are going to change. Then you're going to be sad. That's how sadness works. And it's not just things, it's dreams. You dreamed that you were going to find the right man. You dreamed that you were going to get a house with a white picket fence. You dreamed all these things, okay? Or you dreamed that you were going to have a career in such and such, okay? And these dreams are an illusion, okay, because of the illusion of permanence. None of these things are necessarily going to happen. Some of them might. There's no way of knowing. Okay? But if you base these dreams on who you think you are, then it's going to lead you down the path of suffering. Now, that's just the way it is. So, realizing that you are under an illusion, okay, is the first step. All right? Do you find yourself clinging? Then you're under an illusion, okay? Whatever you're clinging to is part of the illusion, like your identity. Are you clinging to your identity? Are you keeping it nice and tight to you? Well, that's because you're under the illusion of permanence. The world is not permanent. The world is impermanent. And as long as you believe that these things are going to stay the way they are, then you will suffer. Okay? That's just the way it is. And if you're feeling sad because of something that happened in your life, that's also permanence. Okay? Now, all these attachments, okay, are anchored in the fact that you are in a dream, which is an illusion. Believe me, it is. It may not feel like it. You may not think you're in a dream, but that's what you're in. You are spiritually unawakened, therefore you are living in a dream because you can't control what goes on in your life. That makes it dreamlike. Okay? So, that's another illusion because you think everything is going to happen the way you want it to. Okay? Because it's your dream, right? It's your life, isn't it? Okay? And things don't necessarily happen the way you want them to, and then you try to fight against that. Okay? And you're under the illusion that you can change things. Okay? Which you can't. Okay? You can only accept or not accept. You cannot change the isness. And that includes, everything. Now, all these illusions that we're suffering under and all these attachments that bind us to the illusion are part of why you're unhappy. Okay? And this unhappiness is the result of believing things that aren't true. Okay? That's just it. Regardless of everything else, within you is something that knows the truth. And that's the soul. Okay? And how does it know the truth? Because it's been there from the beginning. Okay? You may think, oh, my soul is just this thing inside of me that blah, blah, blah. It's not just a thing inside. It's something that is listening and seeing and experiencing everything that you are. Okay? And it has a perfect memory, unlike you. So, that's part of what is. And if you continue to believe that you are not that, then you will suffer. Now, what other illusions are you living under? The illusion of money. Believing that something, okay, that basically is valueless, okay, it's a piece of paper, is valuable, is you're living another lie. That's what it is, okay? Money isn't valuable. Money is just what you need to get through the day. That's it, okay? And if we hold on to money, if we cling to money, which we do, okay, whether you have a stock portfolio or whatever, or maybe you're poor and you don't have any of that, okay, but you still cling to money because you have to get the money in order to have your bills paid and so on and so forth. Okay, this is another illusion. Not that you have to have your bills paid, yes you do, but it's still an illusion. And your money is attached to you. You have an attachment to your money. And when you lose that money, you're going to have unhappiness, sadness. That feeling will come up in your chest. Oh my God, I lost the money. Okay. And that's just the way it is. These illusions work with, okay, your attachments. And the ego is in the control room, pulling the levers, okay? and using the illusions and attachments that you have, okay, in order to control you. That's what it's doing, okay? And I know this is hard to accept sometimes. It's hard to believe that you're not the one in control of your life. But you know what? You're not. You're not the one in control of your life. If you think you are, then you're suffering under another illusion and an attachment. Okay. So try to accept what is. It's a simple thing, yet it's so hard. Why? Because you have models of the way you want the world to be. And when those models are affected by what is, you fight against that. And that brings on more unhappiness. Okay? I know it's hard to accept things the way they are. Okay? And that is part of why waking up is hard. Okay? And it's a process. It's a process. So if you haven't woken up yet, it's not because you're not doing the right thing or whatever. It's a process. Okay? And maybe you'll spend 60 years suffering, okay? And then you'll wake up spontaneously. That happens. Okay. But I don't want that to happen for you because that suffering is something you don't need. Okay? In your life. I have 60 years of memories of suffering. Okay? That's what I have. And those memories aren't going anywhere. Okay? And I don't want you to have 60 years of suffering. Okay? And then wake up. I want you to wake up now. This is what it is all about. Because if you can realize the illusion that you're under, okay, then you can dispel it. You can make it go away. Okay? I know we all believe in these things. Okay? Absolutely, me too. But they are not real. As long as you believe in something that's not real, then you're going to suffer. That's just the way it is. And you believe in your identity. You believe in your intellect, which is part of your identity. Okay? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having, an intellect. Okay? But you're not the one doing the thinking. You're the one hearing the thinking. Okay? And that is another illusion, too. You're under the illusion that you're the one in charge. You're under the illusion that you are the boss of your own life. Right? Then how can you keep doing the same things? How can you keep making the same mistakes? Because you're not. You're not in control of your life. There is an evil entity called the ego. We call it the ego. I don't know what it really is called, but it's controlling you. Okay? I know that's hard to understand or even accept. And that's the first kind of thing you have to do to wake up. Accept that you are under the control of an evil entity, which is the ego. Okay? The fake identity. And as long as that is going on, as long as you are under the illusion of control, okay, which is another illusion. Look how the illusions come flying once my memory comes back. then you're going to be trapped. And that's just the way it is. You're trapped in these illusions. You're trapped within your attachments. Okay, these things that you cling to. You may not even think you're clinging to anything. Oh, I'm not clinging to anything. I'm perfectly fine. But you are clinging. Okay? Because that's just the way it is. If you have possessions, okay, you're clinging to those possessions. Okay? You don't want to lose those possessions. You don't want to lose the money, so you're clinging to it. Okay? And so they are an attachment. And you make these things part of who you are, or who you think you are. Okay? And that's why it's so hard to let go. But if you accept that these things are not you, then it becomes a lot easier. Now, I'm not saying that anybody's wrong or that anybody's not doing the right thing. I'm just saying what is. That's it. Okay? I'm not trying to make anyone believe in anything, okay, or anything like that. I'm just trying to say what is. That's all. So these illusions that you are suffering under can be dispelled. The illusion of time, the illusion of permanence, the illusion of separation. Okay? The illusion of a lot of other things. Okay? Everyone has their own illusions. I can't possibly know what illusions you're suffering under because everyone is unique. Right? And so, therefore, I'm not going to be able to name the illusion that you're suffering under or all your attachments. There's some common ones because every human has the same sort of humanity, and those are the ones I can talk about, and the ones that I have experienced in my own life. Okay, as well. That's basically what I'm doing. And I'm trying to help you to see what is. Okay, so that you can break out of these illusions and attachments. Believe me, once you have let go of things, you'll start to feel free. And that feeling is indescribably great. Okay? And that's what I'm after for you. That's what I want you to have. That feeling of freedom. Okay? Now, everybody believes that they have the freedom of America. Okay? Which really isn't very free after all, because we have the most prisoners per capita, we have the most laws, so on and so forth. And, just the whole racism thing that's happening with the, justice system and the prisons, it's terrible. And that's why this isn't the freest country. Really, there is no such thing as free country because everybody is dreaming. Okay? Therefore, you have no freedom of choice. And freedom of choice is what matters. If you can't choose your own path, which you can't because it's already been chosen for you by your fake identity, and you think that that fake identity is you. You think you chose what you were going to do. You think you decided what you were going to do, but you didn't. Okay? Because you are a soul. And a soul doesn't do any deciding. The soul does not do any choosing. That is another illusion. The illusion of choice. Well, it's already the end of the video. Once again, please comment if anything I've said is confusing or isn't coming across correctly. Send me your questions. That's what I'm here for, to answer the questions that you have about waking up. As always, I love you all because you're me. You are a part of me, and I am a part of you, just like I am a part of God, and God is a part of me. And you are a part of God. Okay? And God is part of you. So that's just what is. Okay? And that love comes from God. And I am in touch with God, so that is where that's coming from. And you can be in touch with God too. If you don't believe in God, then you can at least have more consciousness and not live in a dream. Okay? Well, clock on the wall says it's time I have to go. I love you all. And please remember who you are. All right, well, I guess I gotta go. Take care. Good night.